What's in the cards for you this week? Hello, hello, happy day to you. All right, I'm going to go ahead and go live across the board in all of our fun places so all of our friends can come check us out, play. All right, so as you hop on, give me a quick hello. Let me know where you're watching from, even if it's in the kitchen, having fun, having a great meal, waking up. Oh, okay, doesn't want to wake up in this one area. So I'm going to just refresh, see if that'll work. Yay. Let's see, I'm going to say continue, go live now. Yay. And I think it's working. All right. So just place your hand on your heart, tune in and ask, what is the most important thing that you need to know for this week ahead? And we will kick off the fun. I'm going to just knock on the card 3 times, the cards. Let me know if you can hear me okay too, because I know that sound has been interesting lately. All right, so what's the most important thing that you need to know this week? I see who's popping up, and it's a star card. I love it. So the star card is a card about miracles. And when I pulled cards earlier today, I love how this works, but when I pulled cards earlier today and I was tuning in for the energy of this week, I really got the energy of the star. She popped up for me, which is limitless possibilities. How good can you stand it? She looks up in the evening sky and she can't even count the number of stars. There's so many potential opportunities. This is saying believe in miracles. Things are looking up. And not only what you believe, but what you feel is of utmost importance. So how do you feel inspiration in your body? I want to talk about this for a moment because your body is your best energy instrument. One of my joys as an energy alchemist is helping others connect to the sacred practices and tools that enable them to step into the life they were born to live. It includes reading the cards. It includes sound healing like tuning forks. It includes numerology. It includes crystals. It includes energy healing. It includes astrology. I learn, certify, initiate in all of the sacred practices that I can to create very unique energy recipes and meet the unique person, whether it's the clients, the students, the group that I'm teaching, meet them right where they are and create the practice that they need in that moment. And we don't always have access to these tools, though. You may not have that exact crystal. You may not have the Inside of the Moon journal yet. And if you don't, make sure you grab it. But when you do have these sacred tools, there are ways you can use them. But in the meantime, your body is your best instrument to use. I'm going to adjust my desk a little bit because I feel like it's so high. It feels a little unnatural. And I'm reaching up like a little kid reaching up for the table. I have all these things, speaking of all of my toys in front of me, all the crystals that I'm using this week, the candles. And I wanted to take a time, one very simple spiritual practice you can incorporate into your routine when you start your day, a way for you to tune in and really make sure that you are connecting to your intuition. And I'm going to talk more about the body as your best energy instrument, is to light a candle. So I just invite you to kind of join me this morning. I'm going to light a candle and to call in spirit. And as we call in spirit, ooh, it's a nice big flame. I don't know if you guys can see this, but it's really burning brightly. Why is the body your best energy instrument? Well, many people, when they're tuning into their intuition, and there are 4 main ways that we can access intuition, the body is one that comes up as the most easily accessible to access intuition. People feel goosebumps. Their stomach might feel upset. They might get tension, physical tension, like in their shoulders, or headache when they're encountering energy that's not good for them or is not in their highest and best interest. Your body lets you know when you're in danger. Your body lets you know when something's not right for you. Do we always listen, or do we always know how to recognize it? No, not necessarily. That's what I love teaching people. But this week, what I'm going to encourage you to do is just take note of how your body feels throughout the day? What are your energy levels like? What's your digestion like? Are you noticing differences in temperature? Are you getting those goosebumps when people talk? And let me know, do you ever have those moments? I had a mastering intuition student who used to call them God bumps, because when she would get those little goosebumps on her arms, she would know that somebody was speaking the truth. She would know that it was basically her friends in high places, her angels, God, looking out for her and letting her know she was on the right track. So your body is going to help you tune into these miracles this week, just like a little tuning fork or divining rods to let you know when you're on the right track, when it's like hotter, 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 or you're getting, ooh, cold, cold, freezing. Do you ever play that game, hot and cold? Love, love, love that game. So let's break down this week ahead. First thing I love to do is, number one, we're looking at the moon. What is the moon doing? Why are we paying attention to the moon? Well, the moon affects us on a daily basis. It affects our moods. It can affect our energy levels. It can affect our intuition. It can affect our work and our stress levels. I had an incredible insight and aha moment last week, and I really, really attribute it to using my Inside of the Moon journal, because every week I take note of where is the moon at, where the moon is, what my mood is. I pull a card to help me tune into the energy that's all around. And then I just write and jot down any insights. And as I was spending some time reflecting, I realized that that moon in Scorpio last week threw me for a doozy. I've never encountered a conscious understanding and awareness of how that moon in Scorpio affects me until I really spent some time last week contemplating and sitting with it. And I have to tell you, the insights that came to me afterwards will forever change the way that I work and I move forward, because what happened was a moon in Scorpio is very intense and it can be focused, and it can almost get so intense and focused it becomes obsessive or even compulsive. And I found myself doing such intense focused work last Tuesday that I did become a bit obsessive. Like I was trying to make something work on my website and I just kept doing it over and over and over. I'd fix one thing, something else would break. I'd fix another thing, something else. I was like, no, I'm going to get this. I can make this work. Oh, that just doesn't look quite right. I'm going to go back. I'm going to tweak it a little. I just couldn't leave well enough alone. It's like picking at a scab. It's like, stop it. It will heal. Let it be. But that moon in Scorpio, wow, because the energy of that Tuesday and the way I engaged with it, because I wasn't fully aware going in how moon in Scorpio affected me until I paused and I journaled and I meditated and reflected on it afterwards, it threw the rest of my week. And my energy just had a tough time bouncing back. Now, part of this is that we were working up to the full moon last week, and we can tend to get an excess of energy. And if we don't manage it properly, then we can really run out of steam before the full moon hits. And that's what I want to talk about this week. Taking time to just pay attention and reflect. What is the moon doing? How am I feeling? Physically, emotionally, what's going through my mind? What intuitive senses am I picking up? That will make all the difference. It will make the difference as you plan moving forward. It will make the difference in the way that you use your energy during the day. And it's going to make a difference in the way that the kindness and compassion you have towards yourself and others. So I can look back at last week and go, oh, I see where I tripped up now. Now I know for the future, I'm going to handle moments like that. When I see that incoming energy, another moon in Scorpio coming, I'm going to put certain plans in place to make sure that I don't mismanage my energy and end up burned out for the rest of the week. So with that being said, one of the things that I always do going into a week is I set an intention. So this week, I'm really focusing on energy maintenance. When I say I believe in miracles or I expect miracles, I'm also knowing that I play a part in that. Miracles exist. I truly believe that. The gift of grace exists. We can't do anything to earn these amazing gifts from God, but we can align ourselves in such a way that we can see the gifts and that we actively choose to receive them. Because gifts will come along, opportunities come, but if we don't say yes to these gifts, if we don't actively see them and take them or welcome them into our life, really receive them, then we just miss them. They go by. And some of you may have heard my story about Joe and the birthday calendar. I don't know. If you guys have heard this, pop it in the comments. Good morning, Chrissy. I'm so glad you're here. Thanks for letting me know you can hear me. So, the story of Joe, let me tell this really quickly in case you haven't heard this one. I love this one. So, Joe, he transitions and he goes up to heaven, right? So, he's left this world and he's up in the pearly gates, and he arrives and St. Peter is there. And St. Peter hands him this calendar. And Joe's like, calendar. All right. And he's looking at the calendar, and on the calendar, he sees everything all laid out, all the days of the week, and he's flipping through and he sees these presents, right? Like little images of presents. And many of them are unopened. Some look like they're opened, but he's like, presents on all these different days. Why are so many presents on this calendar? It wasn't a birthday. It wasn't always a holiday. And he looks at St. Peter and he's like, what's the deal with all these presents? And St. Peter says, oh, those are gifts of grace. And Peter's like, wait, what? Explain. And St. Peter says, all the presents that were opened, that's when you saw those gifts, those opportunities that came your way, those miracles, those unexpected moments, too good to be true. And you said, wow, yes, I receive that. I accept that. And all of the wrapped presents were the times that you didn't see the gift or you chose not to receive it. And I think about that, when we get to the pearly gates, so to speak, when we transition, when we look back, when we have that life review, are we going to see those moments where we missed the gifts? And where if we had just taken a moment to pause, to reflect, to be grounded, what would have changed? How would the direction in our life have gone? So not to be thinking in regret, not to be looking back even now, but right where we are moving forward, what can we do so that we can align ourselves to these miracles that are all around, these gifts of grace? And part of that has to do with the way we maintain our energy. So that's why this week is, I expect miracles, and I encourage you, keep your eyes open for the miracles. They're around this week. They're always around. We're going to work on energy maintenance. So the top 3 things I'm going to be doing, I'm going to plan, I'm going to prepare, and I'm going to be proactive. Hello from Czechia. Hannah, hello. So glad you joined us live. Yay. The crystal that I work with, I encourage everyone each week to work with a crystal. So this crystal for the month, Tiger's Eye, for protection, for grounding, for really tuning into solar plexus courage and confidence. Solar plexus is a big part of this month as well. That I'm working with. And I describe all of that in the journal. Every month has I'm holding the journal in a funny way. But if you're curious, like, where am I getting my crystals? Like, how do I know which crystals I'm going to be working with this month? What sacred practices? I have a whole section in the journal where it gives suggested practices. This is available digitally and physically. The link is around here. The video if you want to know more about the journal. But that's how I work. I have a crystal that I work with. I have a sacred practice. I have a meditation, a mudra, and even a mandala. So this month and even this week, the Hamsa, so the hand of Fatima. Very sacred shape that I'm working with this week to help focus on being grounded, being protected, protecting time, energy, resources. And the beautiful thing is when you have it upside down, it represents prosperity and abundance. So you can also work with it in that way. So why do I tell you all of these things? Well, I tell you this because as we're going into the week ahead, this energy, I want to invite you, number one, to have a plan, because there are miracles around. And so part of being in the place where we can kind of be right place, right time to experience those miracles, to receive those gifts of grace, is being grounded and aware, to have a plan. So there are those quotes out there, and they say, like 99% of luck is preparation. So I want to invite you, have that in the back of your mind this week. Be prepared. So we plan, we prepare, and we're proactive, or we're productive. With that being said, the energy of the week, the first thing that I look at is, what is the moon doing? The general phase of the moon. This gives me a good understanding of just in general, what I might feel energy level wise. Am I going to feel really over energized? Am I going to feel tired? So I don't beat myself up. So I'm not looking back and saying, oh my gosh, Irina, you should have pushed more. You should have done more. What I realized last week is where I was going towards the full moon was I overworked at the beginning of the week and I ran out of steam. And it happens. But I look back now and I say, okay, next time I've got my notes, I'm collecting my data, I'll be prepared. It's a learning process. We don't have to get it right 100% of the time. Thank God it's not rocket science. It's just astrology. But this week, the moon is in a waning phase. We had the full moon last week and we're waning. It's getting darker. That means our energy is naturally going to be a little lower. We're going to be wanting to have more time alone, a little bit more introverted, generally speaking, right? Is everybody going to feel that exactly? Not necessarily, but on their scale of things, they might feel a little less extroverted. They might feel a little less like going out there. If that's the case with you, if you don't have as much energy, if you want to sleep a little bit more, then you're right in tune, right in cycle with the moon in that waning phase. As we move towards the end of the week, and let me even just say this, think of it like a rest and a recuperation time. You're getting ready for the new moon, where you're getting ready to plant a new idea or a seed, the next phase of your plan, the next big idea that you're going to grow. And anytime you get ready to grow something, and for the gals out there who've ever had little ones, when you're growing a little one, it can take a lot of energy. You find you're more fatigued. You find you're hungrier. You just need more rest. When we are in that phase between full moon and new moon, we're getting ready for the next growth cycle. So rest, recuperate. You just had a big celebration with full moon, so to speak. It's a healing time. And the last quarter moon, which happens at the end of the week, Friday, also known as third quarter moon, that's all about healing. That's the way I really engage with that moon cycle or moon phase, healing. When, let's say I look back at last week and I'm like, oh my gosh, I totally dropped the ball with that. I should have had more energy. I should have known that the moon in Scorpio would hit me. Like, why didn't I know? I can beat myself up. And if I stay in that cycle of guilt or shame or blame, what happens is I'll exhaust myself before I even get to the next growth cycle. I won't see the miracles and potential gifts of grace around me because I'm too busy beating myself up. So Friday with the last quarter moon, I encourage and invite you, where might you be looking back in hindsight or even just currently beating yourself up over past choices or decisions or regrets popping up? Rather than continue staying in that cycle, which keeps us in a state of lower vibration or even negativity, do a healing practice so that you are ready to be aware of the gifts around you. Because here's the other thing too, when we're stuck in that cycle of blame or shame or guilt, what ends up happening is we may not be feeling worthy to receive a gift that's around us. Like, oh, that's too good for me. I had a friend who received a gift certificate to a really fancy restaurant, and it's just beautiful 5-star restaurant, but she wouldn't go because she didn't feel worthy. Like she felt like she didn't belong there. Like she would stick out. Where in your life have you been doing that to yourself? Or maybe because of old beliefs or old thoughts or old patterns or maybe guilt, you're like, that's too good. You know what? It might sound silly, but just meditate on it. Just reflect on it. Go for a walk. Think about it. Where might you have been placing a block, making it challenging for you to receive these gifts? Because you are worthy and you are loved. For grace, there's nothing you can do to earn it or deny it. It's given out of limitless, unconditional love. And that's what the star card is really about, is limitless, unconditional love. You're opening up your intuition. So trust your gut instinct. Trust those physical feelings you're getting this week. Jot them down, write them. So when I say trust, it is like developing a relationship. And this is what I teach my Mastering Intuition students in my big program, is that, we're not necessarily trusting a gut feeling like, oh, sell everything, and just, go off to Tahiti to paint the naked natives like Gauguin. But give yourself an opportunity to do little things first. and validate your gut instincts and be like, oh, I got a feeling I should have called my sister and I did. Oh, that really was spot on. Or I got a feeling that I should have asked you about, like, how is your mom doing? And I did. And you had a chance, like the friend had a chance to express, oh, I've been missing my mom. This is gut feelings. You take action on it, you get a validation, and then you go bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger as you collect the data, as I teach my Mastering Intuition students, for collecting the data. So it's not some willy-nilly, like, woo, airy-fairy thing. We're grounded when we do this. I have a background in decision sciences and management information systems. That was my degree. So I like data. I like being able to look at it because we're dealing with intangible things. We can't touch it, taste it, or smell it necessarily, unless you have those intuitive gifts working strongly for you. So we're dealing with things that we might feel like we're making up. It feels like imagination. It's all in my head. How could it be true? Well, write it down and see how often things repeat, or if the experience is validated. It's incredible. And you get to the point where you just kind of stop questioning and doubting. All right. So hopefully that makes sense. Let me know too. Do you feel in touch with one of your intuitive gifts very strongly? That clear feeling, clairsentience, or claircognizance, like I just know it's right. This is true. I feel it in my bones. I feel it in my gut. Or clairaudience. It's like words come to you, songs pop up out of the blue. You see bumper stickers that have special meanings for you. It's like, that's validation. Or maybe clairvoyance. Maybe you get images that pop into your head. You're clear seeing. Clairaudience is clear hearing, clairvoyance, clear seeing. Those are the 4 big ones. All right. With that being said, let's jump into this week. I'm going down lots of rabbit holes that I hadn't originally intended, but following the energy. Monday. Okay, Monday, moon is in Aquarius. First thing I'm going to do is pull a card. What do we need to know about the energy of the week? And I want to say, when it comes to cards, in the comments, I'm curious, how many of you guys read cards, or are you familiar with cards, whether it's tarot cards or oracle cards? Because the way that I read cards, everybody reads them a little differently, is I think of them like an energy weather report. Meaning we turn on the news and we say, okay, what's the weather going to be like today? Oh, 85 and humid, but no rain. So I know, okay, dress a little cool, maybe layers for the air conditioning. Basically, I'm saying, I know that the weather's going to be hot. I can't change the weather necessarily, unless you're working with 11th chakra. I'm going to just deal with the weather as it is, but I can prepare for that weather. I can choose not to go outside. I could choose to turn on air conditioning. I could choose to travel to a cooler place. I could wear less clothes. I could wear more clothes, but I'm not caught by surprise by the 85 degrees and the humidity. I know it's there. So reading the cards, I really see it like we're turning on the weather report. We're looking to say, okay, what's the weather today? Then you get to choose with your free will how you want to engage with that energy, that weather. It's not like life is happening to you. You're prepared, you're aware, you can make a plan, and you can be proactive. That's our 3 Ps for this week, right? Plan, prepare, and be proactive. All right, so with Monday, what's the energy around us that we can expect? Okay, Magician, I love it. You have all the tools you need at your fingertips. You have the gift within you to make the magic happen. So that star, that limitless possibility and potential, all of the miracles that are around you, take time to assess the gifts you have already. That could be your talents, your skills, your network. It could be the resources, and then gather them to achieve your goal, to work proactively towards your goal. Holy cannoli. I need this message. So that's Monday. So with the moon in Aquarius, an Aquarius moon helps you to detach from the emotions, which is nice right now because the sun moved into Cancer, which is naturally more of an emotional energy. We're going to be feeling more emotions than we might normally with the sun in Cancer. And an Aquarius moon just gives us a little bit of a break. It helps us rise above the chaos of the emotions. It helps us think more innovatively, outside of the box, create creatively. I'm going to encourage you on Monday to spend some time as we look at this week to think about it like creative problem solving. I would invite you make a list of maybe what you want to accomplish this week. Maybe you write down your top 3 things, your big things you're working on. And I'm giggling because a lot of people are using like ChatGPT to help figure out, okay, I've got all these things to do. Help me figure out, a productive or an efficient way to do it. Think of it like that today. Maybe you even use ChatGPT. That would be very Aquarian. Aquarius energy is all about technology. You have more tools and resources at your fingertips than you realize. Ooh, I get chills. Okay, Tuesday. What's the most important thing you need to know about Tuesday's energy? 6 of Wands, success. So this is that validation. This is your opportunity to shine on Tuesday. It can be hard sometimes to receive compliments and to receive praise. You're being encouraged on Tuesday to really be in a place where you can say, I receive that. Thank you. I'm taking that into my heart. Thank you for that gift. Thank you for that compliment. Thank you for that validation, that award. It's a successful day. So Tuesday, moon's still in Aquarius. It's still in that waning phase where we're starting to wind down. We want to be building our energy more, giving yourself an opportunity to regenerate, recuperate, but celebrate your successes as well. This is also a reminder that sometimes as we're working towards those big goals, we don't always take times to celebrate the wins. Celebrate the wins on Tuesday, no matter how small they are. Like, okay, today I got up and I took note of where the moon was and what my mood was, what I was feeling like. Or maybe it's like, oh, I got my 7 hours or 8 hours of sleep, or I ate healthy, or I contacted the people on my list that I promised I would respond back to or reach out to. Celebrate the wins. And how can you celebrate the wins? Well, again, collect the data, write it down so that you can go back and tick it off. One of the things that I use in here, because a lot of people, there's just that satisfaction in checking, like I did it. You can track your energy. So if you have a moon journal, remember you've got the moon, the ritual, the month, and the mood. So you can check off, okay, I notice where's the moon today? I did my ritual. I wrote a little insight down. I noticed what my mood was. This is great. You'll be able to go back, and this is like pure gold, this data. It's no one else telling you, oh, well, the moon is, it's great to have that general information, but when you have how it affects you personally, man, that's priceless. Okay. Really helped me last week. So I'm like, guys, just write it down, journal or not. Take note. Wednesday. Let me make sure I'm not missing anything over here. Good morning, Shannon. Glad you made it. Wednesday. What's the most important thing you know about Wednesday's energy? 6 of Swords. Where you go, there you are. So 6 of Swords is like we can go somewhere new. We can travel. Maybe there's a new job. Maybe there's a move coming up. But be mindful of the baggage that you bring with you, the beliefs, the thoughts, the ideas. Be mindful of what you're doing. There's another great story that I love. And you guys, if you've been hanging around me for a while, some of these stories, you might be like, oh, I've heard this one, Irina. Let me know in the comments. I'll find some new ones. But there's this story, let's call him Bob. Bob decides he can't stand his town anymore. The town is full of disrespectful people. They let their dogs bark and poop everywhere. They drive fast and they cut people off. People in the grocery store are too slow. They're rude. Like, he's just done. He can't stand his town anymore. He's going to move. He's going to find a new place to live that's going to be so much better. Or maybe it's the new job where people are nice and they're respectful of him. And so he packs everything up into a little U-Haul, gets into his little, let's say Ford Escort. You guys remember Ford Escorts? Back in the day, could even pull a U-Haul. And he drives away out of the town. And he's driving and he's driving and he's still so angry. I'm going to find a better town. Those people were terrible. And he realizes, I got to pull over for gas. So he sees a gas station, pulls over for gas, and it's attached to what looks like a really cute little quaint town. And he goes into the gas attendant, like back in the day when you have to go in and pay for gas in the little store. And he says to the attendant, hey, what are the people like in this town? And the gas attendant says, oh, well, what were the people like in your last town? And Bob goes, they were terrible. They were rude. They were disrespectful. The dogs barked, the this, the that. And the gas attendant said, oh, yeah, they're pretty much the same right here. And so Bob went on. So here's the thing. What I love about that story is we can move jobs, we can move relationships, we can move homes, we can move towns. But if we bring the same attitude and beliefs with us, we're going to keep running into the same situations. I can't tell you how many people, before they came to work with me one-on-one, would be like, oh, I have this terrible boss, and they're narcissistic, and they're cruel, and they disrespect me, and I'm working all hours, and I went to a new job, and I got another narcissistic boss. Oh, no, cancel, clear, delete. What happens is there's an underlying energetic vibration going on that we need to heal and transmute, clear essentially through transmutation. So that you are in a place that you can see the opportunity, that you can see the beauty, that you can see the goodness, that you can move more towards that. Because if you're in that space, that vibrational energy of the curmudgeons, of the rudeness, of the nastiness, you're going to keep finding it and matching with it. It's the energetic process known as entrainment. When we're vibrating in a certain frequency, we find more of that. It's that like attracts like. The way that I describe this in my Mastering Intuition program is they do experiments like this in science class. Maybe you did it growing up, where they'll have one tuning fork that's at 1 hertz and they'll start ringing it. The same tuning fork is over here, same hertz, and it's just silent. But what happens is the vibration coming off of this one activates this tuning fork, but only matching frequencies. If you had a different tuning fork that wasn't, let's say, 432 hertz, it wouldn't start vibrating. So we tend to find the energy that we are vibrating with, that we are vibrating at. These are just other ways of me trying to say and get around the obvious cliches, like your vibe attracts your tribe, like attracts like, play in the gutter, dirt rubs off, birds of a feather flock together. How many idioms can I have? I love those, right? But there's a rootedness in it. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Holy cannoli. Talk about goosebumps. Ooh, got that on my neck. How many times have you heard that growing up? I know I heard those phrases a ton growing up. And basically it's just saying, what are we doing? Because what we are doing, what we are watching, what we are consuming through our eyes, through our ears, and through our mouth, the food we're eating, that's going to affect us energetically. And it's going to put us into a certain state that creates more of that. And it goes back to that Einstein quote, right? Like the definition, it's my paraphrasing, of insanity is repeating the same thing over and over and over. And if you want different results, you have to do something differently. So when you think about Bob in the car and his, there's a different approach that he needs to kind of shift at a core level, more than just the moving. And Hannah, you said you have intuition, but how to put into practice, reality. Yeah. And that's a very good point you bring up, Hannah, about putting our intuition into practice. And that's, again, what I love to do with my Mastering Intuition students, is to teach them that. And we have it broken down into the 4 main clairs, different ways to practice, different exercises we can do, because we're all born with at least one of those intuitive gifts pretty readily accessible. The others we can sharpen and hone, most definitely. And some of them we kind of shut down when we're little, but it is a practice. And how do we use it on a daily basis? That's why I start with you guys with the moon. The moon is a great way to start building your intuition. And it's why I started Moon Club again, because it's a nice, easy, accessible, affordable way that people can come in and I can share with you different tips of, okay, here's what the moon's doing today. You might feel this. Here are ways that we can plan with the moon. Oh, and my moon clubbers who are watching this, I think I'm going to do it on Friday. I'm going to touch base with you guys. We're going to do our monthly moon planning for July. I'm very excited. I love these monthly moon planning sessions. So that's another sidebar, but really quickly, just to kind of show you what I mean for those of you guys who aren't in Moon Club, every month. And again, my Moon Clubbers, I give them access to the wonderful monthly planning, but you have a blank sheet because all of the journal is dateless. What we do is we write down the day of the week, I walk through with everyone, telling them, okay, here's where the moon's going to be. This is new moon. This is first quarter, full moon, last quarter. We talk about any of the major retrogrades coming up, like is a Mercury retrograde happening or Saturn or the like, so that you know what to plan for the month. So you know, okay, I'm going to have more energy at this time, less energy at that, summer solstice, all of these things. So it just helps you plan for the month ahead. I really like it. I know it helps me, and I love to share it so it can help others. So moon clubbers, we're going to be doing that at the end of the week. In the meantime, what I'm going to encourage you to do as we move into Thursdays. Did I talk about Thursday? I didn't. Holy cannoli. I'm getting sidetracked. Wednesday. Let's talk about Wednesday. Lots to talk about today. Holy cannoli. Wednesday. What do you need to know about Wednesday's energy? Whoop, it popped right out. Holy cannoli. Jumped right down. Queen of Wands. Okay, Queen of Wands, you might have a feeling of extra energy. Watch that you don't burn the candle at both ends. You're going to be encouraged to really manage your energy. Moon moves into Pisces. Pisces moon can tend to feel more. It can tend to be a little bit more emotional. It can tend to want to be near water. I'm going to encourage you, listen to good music on Wednesday. Watch your energy levels, that you don't overgive. Because the other thing about Pisces energy is they're very empathic and compassionate, and they help. They will run to the rescue. They will help someone who's in need without thinking twice. And then they end up feeling burned out or exhausted or frustrated, and even to the point where they could resent the person or resent the fact that they feel like they're not being taken care of and they're not being loved. There's so much light and so much energy around you and so much joy. It's a very joyful energy. Share the joy, share the light, but at the same time, stay grounded and aware of your own energy levels so that you don't find yourself exhausted and burned out. Okay, Thursday. Thursday, moon's still in Pisces. And what do you need to know? What's the most important thing? Oh, I get the Queen of Wands popping up again. That's interesting. So here's what I'm going to say. Create healthy plans, routines, structures, boundaries to help manage your energy and protect yourself. So what do I mean by that? Well, Pisces energy is very much like the river and the water that flows. The greater the river banks are, the more powerful the stream or the river. If there's a flood and the water comes up and over the edge, it kind of permeates and goes everywhere. We could become distracted. We might feel a little sad. We might feel overwhelmed. We might feel lost. And then we can lean into that burnout energy a little bit more easily. I want you to realize that emotional fatigue can sometimes be more intense than physical fatigue. And that was something that was brought to my attention last week. And I hadn't been thinking about that. Where are you allowing your emotions to, how do I want to say? I'm going to say it this way. It's important that we process the feelings that are deep down in our belly, that you don't try to ignore them or numb them or stuff them out, but to have a process where you're grounded, where you can move them carefully and mindfully and safely through the body. I think that's why so many people love running and working out. It's a wonderful way to release the stress and to allow those big feelings to come up through the heart and out through the mouth. And even if you were to do a sacred practice like the mudra or the mantra rather that I have for this month, which is Ram, R-A-M, it's a beautiful energetic sound of the solar plexus, Ram. Even if you were to just say Ram, 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 to help process the feelings in your belly. It can be powerful. But having those boundaries in place to protect you is going to be really, really helpful on Wednesday or Thursday. Wednesday and Thursday, really, but Thursday especially. Friday. What's most important you know for Friday when the moon is moving into Aries? You're planning for the future. You're preparing for the long haul. A couple different metaphors or idioms I wanted to say all at once. It's the long game. Thank you, angels. The long game. You're not looking to plant something and see results in 24 hours or 2 hours. It might happen. Hey, we're expecting miracles this week, so it could definitely happen. But you're also knowing that the energy, the time, the effort, the resources that you're putting into is for something much bigger than even this moment now. This is like investing. What are you investing in, or what do you want to invest in? Reassess your resources, your time, your energy, your money. Are you putting them into the things that are really going to pay off for you in the long run? Meaning, you might be, there's a lot of looking, I guess you could say, maybe researching that I've been doing with time management, I guess you could say. But basically, it's saying, okay, where am I investing my time? There's always a lot of work to be done, but the work that I'm doing, is it this, how do I want to say? Because it's not necessarily the smartest, but okay, this is the way. Thank you, angels. Is it helping me reach my goals? Is it helping me reach what my heart really truly desires? Or is it just busy work that, yes, this is important, that it needs to be done, but it could be put off for a little bit longer? Just assess. So Friday, that last quarter moon, it's a healing moon, a moon where you just forgive yourself. So if you feel like, oh, I invested in the wrong thing, I wasted this, I wasted that resource, don't worry. Just give yourself time to heal. I love that beautiful, beautiful Ho'oponopono practice that comes from sacred Hawaiian traditions of I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. All right. And then Saturday, moon moves into Aries. What's most important that you know about moon in Aries? The worst part is over. 10 of Swords. So you might have felt after that assessment on Friday, where you were looking at where you've invested your resources, you might feel like, oh, I was betrayed, or I was taken advantage of, or, I shouldn't have trusted. This is saying, don't worry, the worst is over. Light is on the horizon. You're already moving into the new energy. Healing is happening. Don't let the past hold you back. Don't let it hold you down, but keep your eyes on the horizon. Always remember who you are and where you've come from, but don't let don't let the past define who you are. That you are in this moment claiming who you are and where you're headed. All right, Sunday. So Sunday, the moon is moving into Taurus, and that'll be lovely. That's a moon. A Taurus moon is one to really enjoy fully on a full sensory level. Sight, sound, touch, taste, smell, feel. Enjoy yourself. Do something luxurious for yourself on Sunday. Energy, Four of Wands, maybe a music festival, maybe a concert, a celebration with friends, something that helps you feel very stable and grounded. And that's Taurus energy. Taurus really creates a feeling of safety. It's very loyal, it's very grounded, very steady. You can depend on it. And that Sunday energy, you are being encouraged. Do something that helps you feel protected, that delights your senses, that you find really enjoyable. It feels luxurious to you. Maybe it's, the special bubble bath, or, like oils that you get, or maybe it's, a treat of your favorite food, or going out to see a movie or a concert. It doesn't have to be crazy. It could be crazy, but know that there are simple ways to engage and to practice and do the moon. All right. So thank you so much for coming and playing with me this morning. If you have questions, pop them into the comments below. I'm going to just post really quickly. If you are interested in the monthly planning session that I'm going to be doing with my Moon Club members, and you want to, I'm going to put it up here. There you go. So if you're watching on YouTube, you'll be able to see this, the irenamiller.co/club. Come play with me in the Moon Club. We're going to have a great week this week in there, and you're going to get a look ahead. Saturn is going retrograde at the end of this week. So what does that mean? It's kind of like our parents go on vacation and it's like, woo, house party. Saturn is a disciplinarian. It's the authoritarian. It's a one who makes the rules. And Saturn, he's like, I'm going on vacation. You guys should be good on your own. So it's up to us now. It's up to us to have that discipline. We're not going to have that feeling of somebody looking over our shoulder like, oh, are you doing your work? Are you eating your vegetables first? Are you doing your chores before you play? Are you being responsible? And Saturn's in Pisces. So there really is this development of this innate discipline and strength and willpower that you're being encouraged to tap into. All right. Have a great week. If this has been helpful for you, please do give it a like or a love, whatever platform you're watching on. It really does help so much so that I can continue to get this message out and share it with those who are vibrating at the same energy frequency and can benefit from it. And then also subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. That way you're notified of the latest and greatest. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. So much love to all of you. And I'll catch you on the flip side. Mwah! Bye, guys.